Scotlandville.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got finest up in here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen.
I get paid not to mind my own business. No, really. People come to me, they pay me, and they tell me about their problems. Financial problems, relationship problems, work problems, stress, anything you can think of. And over the time that I've been doing what I do, what I've come to realize is that most of these problems wouldn't actually be problems if all of us just learned that sometimes it's okay to not be okay. But this is not the message that society sends us. Even from a young age, we're taught, big girls and big boys don't cry. We have to suck it up, put on a smile, put on your happy face. Just keep on going. Tough it out. Everybody has problems, right? That doesn't stop the world. So just put on your happy face and keep on going. ADHD, no, that's not a real thing. Lil Daquan just needs to pay attention more, do his homework, listen to his teacher, then he'll be okay. Oh, there was a death in your family? We're so sorry to hear that. You can take some time off work, that's fine. But before you go, can you get somebody to cover your shift? And are you sure you can't work from home? Because you know Zoom's a big thing now. Oh, and don't forget, you need to bring in that obituary before you can use your time off, because you have to prove that you were actually related to that person. But no, sure, take as much time as you need. Oh, racism? That was like 400 years ago. What are you talking about? This is not a problem anymore. And as ridiculous as everything I just said sounds, these are the messages that are put out there, the narratives that are told. But society and people, we wouldn't dare be that harsh. We wouldn't dare be that crude or that curt. So instead, what we do is take these same messages, these same concepts, and we put them into a box. And we take the little box and we put a pretty little bow on it with some glitter, and we call it resilience. Resilience is a good thing, right? We hear that word all the time. It's to push through and overcome adversity, and no matter what, you go and you reach that goal. Resilience is defined as the capacity to overcome circumstances. And that in and of itself isn't a terrible thing. But then my question is, who determines what that capacity is? Is your capacity the same as mine? Are your circumstances the same as mine? See, resilience sounds like a good thing, and the word in and of itself isn't a bad thing. But the way that it's used and the message we send about it, that despite no matter what's going on, you have to just keep on pushing and put on your happy face, mask what's really going on. See, the problem with that is that it minimizes situations, it dismisses emotions, and it's straight up dehumanizing. Because as human beings, we come equipped with emotion, and that's just part of what it is. Let's take, for example, the COVID-19 pandemic, that over a year later, we're still trying to learn how to navigate, right? A quick Google search of coronavirus or COVID-19 will bring you all kind of articles that are titled things like, Top 3 Tips to Stay Resilient Through a Pandemic. And that's cute and all, but my question is, where are the articles that are titled, This is an absolute, unpredicted, unprecedented shit show, and we're really all just trying our best to navigate it? And see, that's the thing. We all are trying our best every day. Despite what's going on and what we're dealing with, we're all just really trying our best. But somehow society still finds a way to shame people's suffering. People want to tell you how you should react to things, how quickly you should overcome those circumstances, how large that capacity should be. In the work that I do, I attend a whole lot of conferences and workshops and things like that. And every time I get to one, I look at a program and I cringe, because somewhere on there, there's going to be a presentation with Black or African American in the title, coupled with the word resilience. If not resilience, it's ugly first cousin grit, which is just as bad. And see, what happens is words like resilience and grit and things like that, that narrative is perpetuated a whole lot more when it comes to Black people and people of color. But here's the problem. How are we expected to push through and overcome and get through all of this adversity in a system that was never set up for us in the first place? You're telling me I have to do X, Y, and Z to win, but you never wanted me to, and that's why systemic racism is the way it is, and these systems are in place. Now, that's like saying, as a Black woman, I'm not saying I can't reach the same goals as a white man. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I am saying is that his ladder to that goal is going to have 25 steps on it, and mine starts with 5. And just like my ancestors have done for centuries, I'm going to work and build, and I'll make those steps myself with bloody knuckles. But what I'm saying about the word resilience is, don't pretend like that's okay, because sometimes it's okay to not be okay. And I'm going to build those steps, and I'm going to do what I have to do to reach that same goal. But what I'm saying is that at the same time, I'm allowed to look at his steps and be angry, pissed off, upset, sad, jealous, and every other emotion that fits. The problem is we want people to pretend. We want people to put on a mask and act like emotions don't exist. Pretending is not healing. Pretending that things are okay. Pretending that you're not struggling. Pretending that this unjust system is okay. We think people can just push through and keep on going. Don't let stuff bring you down. You can't be upset. You have to be happy and positive and keep on going. But see, the problem is I can't hustle my way out of homelessness. I can't positive vibe my way out of an unjust political system. And as we continue to pretend and act like things are okay, what's going to happen is that being in this constant state of survival will lead to burnout. And burnout is just the tip of the iceberg on a very slippery slope that can be detrimental to your mental and physical health. Now, don't get me wrong, the message that I'm not putting out there today is that we should just sit on our hands and say, oh, woe is me, because tough times are going to come. That's just part of life. And there's things that are going to push us down or hold up the journey a little bit, and I'm not saying you should just leave it there. But what I am saying is that we shouldn't pretend. What I'm saying is that when these things happen, it's okay to not be okay sometimes. I mean, hell, if people were just okay with being down and out, I wouldn't have a job. All right? But the thing is, by the time people contact me and they come to see me, they've realized I'm struggling and I need to do something about it. They have realized I am struggling and I need to do something about it. Because it's only so long you can struggle in silence. And as a society, we need to start letting people know that they don't have to struggle in silence. And so my big idea that I'll leave you with today is that we stop masking and pretending and calling it resilience when really it's a struggle. Let's not glorify struggles and call them resilience and grit. What I'm saying is that we need to realize that human beings are not machines. We wonder why there's this constant rise of mental illness and all this talk of, oh, mental struggles, this and that, and we didn't have that back in my day. Yeah, we did. But people are getting more okay with opening up about it. And so what we need to do is realize that human beings come equipped with emotions, and that when people are struggling and sitting in their darkest times, They're not always looking for somebody to say, oh, it'll be okay. They're not always looking for a problem to their solutions. A lot of times when people are struggling and going through hard times and they open up to you, they just want someone to sit there with them in their dark times and say, you know what? You're right. That really does suck. Thank you.